What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's discussion is going to be about Lleras Park, or Parque Lleras, however you may know it. But I'm hoping that this video will give you a bit of clarity with the drama surrounding it. Is Lleras Park closing? Is it staying open? Hopefully I can provide a little bit more insight with this video for you, and you can leave with knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday. Now, hopefully you can stay tuned to the end of this video, because I am going to be putting up some drone footage and showing a lot more things revolving around that. But first, I want to cover a little bit about Lleras Park so you have a better understanding of its history and maybe understand why here in Medellin they are making the decisions that they are making. So to start off, from 2000 to 2010, basically, this is kind of getting out of the end of the whole narco and danger and drug era. And in Lleras Park, essentially, it became known as Zona Rosa. And this was known as like, all right, this is going to be the place to go to party. There started putting more bars and clubs and essentially, kind of making this the entertainment area. So for those of you who don't know, Lleras Park actually used to be more family friendly, more locals, and not so much tourism or the tourism location that you know it as today. So it basically, as I'm saying, it turned into a place to see and be seen, essentially. And this is for wealthier Colombians or tourists as well. Now, going forward, basically between 2010 till today, Medellin started to invest more in international tourism. So this basically started putting a lot more bars, a lot more entertainment in that area, and essentially heavily focusing on nightlife and tourism. So with that, you started getting a lot of renovation of the area. You start getting more bigger investors coming in, putting in very high-end hotels like, I'm forgetting the name of it, but the one that has Envy on the rooftop, the Click Clack Hotel. You started getting more bigger investors coming in like those, for example. Now, this also made it more tourist friendly and more tourist accessible, shall we say. So obviously with that, you started getting more male travelers. Now, let's say from recent years, from 2020 till today, essentially you have, you're getting more government crackdowns, you're getting more temporary closures and things of that sort. The reason being is because they're trying to curve the reputation that area has, and also too essentially the black eye that is giving Medellin and the reputation of their women, that women here are just easy, and you just come here basically for hooking up and as tourism, and that's it. That is essentially what majority of guys know Medellin for, is simply that. It's not to come here to enjoy the beautiful city for itself, as far as the views, the landscapes, the nature, Guadalupe, whatever else may be here. It's simply, oh, okay, I'm just coming, I'm staying near, or I'm staying in Poblado, I'm staying near Lleras Park, I'm just going to Lleras Park, hanging out in the Provenza area, and that is pretty much it. Maybe they'll do one tour or whatever. So essentially, what is happening now is what they're doing is there are some developers who are building a mall very close to Parque Lleras. And if you've been to or lived or spent any extensive amount of time in Colombia, not just Medellin, you understand what a staple and how big mall culture is here in Medellin, or just Colombia in general. A lot of families, a lot of local Colombians go to the malls. They actually spend a lot of time at the malls. It's not like in the States where you walk in a mall and the mall is just empty. People are just going to the mall to buy what they need, and they leave. here people can spend, a good amount of the day there at the mall. So malls have a huge staple here in Medellin, Colombia, for the lack of better words. So with these developers that are coming in, the way I see it is essentially what's happening with that is it's essentially kind of like Sosua. There comes to a point where other investors are going to be wanting to come in, and they're going to want to protect the tourism and all the tourism dollar and all that, but they want a more family friendly type of tourism and not just a bunch of, horny guys that are coming out here for one specific thing. So what I see is basically the shift of that happening, where it's going to start happening just exactly how things are happening in Sosua. So what I'm going to do is put a video up here and show you guys basically physically how close the proximity is from where this mall is being developed and where Parque Lleras is. All right, guys, so here is Parque Lleras, and as you can see, moving forward a little bit here, there is the dig site where they are doing construction for this mall. As you can see, it is very close to the Lleras Park area, and they have already broken ground with a good amount of progress so far. But this is from a different angle, going from the dig site going to Lleras Park. As you can see, it is maybe a block and a half. It is extremely close. But here you can see the Click Clack Hotel to the left there, and a little bit further up is the hotel where Envy Rooftop is. I'm not sure of the name of it at the moment, but this is kind of panning in here. This is the prime area of Lleras Park, where a lot of the famous clubs are. I think maybe Glow might be the name of one of them or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't really go to Lleras Park like that. But just to show you how close it is from Lleras Park to the dig site. All right, guys. So now you see the proximity and how close it is. And you can understand now why, when big corporations or big companies or big investors, whoever they may be, nobody knows exactly where these investors are coming out of, what country, but people are going to want to protect their investment. They're not going to want it to be associated with any kind of S tourism or S nightlife. And given how close that mall is going to be to Parque Lleras, it's very easy to see how things can get intertwined. I can very easily foresee you having, malls they usually stay open to about 8 or 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock the latest, but usually about 9 o'clock. But, I would imagine they wouldn't want working girls to start to venture over into the mall and, slowly trying to solicit customers or whatever it may be. This is just a guess. It's a hypothetical. I don't know that's what's going to happen for sure, but I would say I would be pretty sure these are some of the questions that were getting asked in the development of this. So the talks had to be had, how are we going to curve this, move it, or do whatever they're going to do with it. Now, I do not know exactly if Parque Lleras is going to be closing down or not. Obviously, there are a lot of existing businesses there that are depending on that type of tourism that comes there. People have basically built their whole businesses around it. So, I would imagine there's going to be some type of slow transition, how they have now. So now, as it is currently, you cannot, there cannot really be girls just standing around. You can't stand around and talk to them like you used to. And I think this is all just to essentially start to condition not only the local women that are there, but also the guys that are coming here to visit, to get them used to, hey, you're not going to just be able to stand around and talk to girls. You got to keep moving. You got to keep walking. They have, a strong police presence there. Now, of course, this mall they barely broke ground on it, maybe a month or two ago, whatever it may be. But there's maybe at least a couple years or more before this mall is fully, fully done. It's not even close to at this point. So essentially, this is what I think, is that they're just trying to start to condition everybody to get them used to, how things are going to be. Now, once it's completely open, who knows? They may completely do a shift and completely shut that down and not allow any girls to be there, and, start to try to bring it back to how it used to be in the old days, where it's more family friendly or more normal tourist friendly, similar how Provence is. But that's it. That's what I think. I wanted to essentially show you guys this so you can get a better idea and understanding of the proximity of this new development and project that they have going on, and how close that is to Provenza. So that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.